opinions of the host, guests, and call-in participants. These do not necessarily represent the views of this show's distributors or sponsors. This program may contain obscene, profane, or otherwise objectionable language. Viewer discretion is advised. Howdy ho, everybody. Come to you cordless from glamorous Minneapolis. You can't see what I'm watching, so I'll get to that in a second. I'm Jim Peters. Welcome to another edition of Jim Peters at Night. This is episode number 373, but if you're keeping score at home, this is the real big fact today. This is the 3-year anniversary of the show. We started actually not on, well, it's Thursday night, July 30th, and we started on Monday, July 31st, 2023 was the very first episode of the show. Our first guest was Murray Sabrin, the economist. And so what I decided to do here for our 3-year anniversary is invited a couple of my old panelist friends from Conk News here, and you know them and you love them. Here's Don Zorro. And hold on, I can do this. Here's Don Zorro, and here's Tim CONAWAY. Hi. I was laughing because I was watching Don dance during he was dancing during the theme music.
It's just, I get so inspired. You know, that Latin blood just starts boiling and I cannot do anything but start spinning around madly.
Tim, what about your Latin blood?
Well, fortunately, I take things to keep my Latin blood from spilling out. But I was dancing at the gym yesterday while I was doing my stretching, and the young women looked at me, and then the usual thing is I'm checking out the young women because they're wearing their, spandex tight shorts and tops and stuff. And, they look at me and they turn their faces away.
Yeah, because you're checking out them, but they're not checking out you.
Right. And they're just put off by, this men. They just, all they want to do is look at your ass, which you've got on display as much as possible.
and isn't that just a dichotomy that we as testosterone-laden humans have to deal with is like you always have some woman with a bizarrely large chest who's got some writing of something, some little message, and if you stop to read the message, you're perving.
Yes.
Enough right. With this.
Greg Fitzsimmons, the comedian, he said a great joke. That was fantastic. He said that women, say, eyes up here, don't look at my chest, and his response is, if you don't want me to look at your tits, why do you put glitter on them?
Bingo.
Yeah.
Just but then again, and I want to pursue this because Tim, you brought up a good thing.
Of course you do.
well, we're all about the same age, and it's really terrible because you spent all your life checking out women, and you still are. But most of your middle age, they kind of spend some time checking out you, but not anymore. Although Don, I have to say, you are in fantastic shape. No offense, Tim. I mean, but Don's like a professional Tai Chi. What is it? It's not Tai Chi. What is it?
No, Tai Chi is what you take if you want to be prepared to get mugged in slow motion.
Okay, what is it?
I take an ancient Chinese art, and it's literally ancient. There's things like 2,000 years old, and it's combined with jujitsu and kind of modern American kickboxing. So you don't want to mess with me. Even
I don't want to mess with you.
No, not you specifically, because I know you've been trained.
Yeah, I've been trained in music theory. That's what I've been trained in. Yeah, I do a great job beating up people. And also, I was going to mention this for later, but I pulled this out of this was a poll that was published in the Daily Star of 2000. These are British adults, but I found this really amazing. So these are 2000 sports fans. And they said, first of all, 25% of them believe they can score a goal in a Premier League game. 10% said they could survive a round in a ring with a professional boxer. That's bullshit.
Yeah.
That's bullshit. 14% of them said they could match a professional golfer over one hole. That's maybe possible. 14% also said that they could return a serve from an elite tennis player. 14% said they could complete a lap in the Formula One race car without coming in last. And 14% said they could finish a stage in the Tour de France. Now, other than the professional golf thing, I think that's all crap.
Well, I mean, we all have highly developed opinions of ourselves, don't we?
Yeah, and this is a problem, isn't it? I mean,
I think if you reduce all of those down to one digit and somewhere between 1% and 3%, that I think I could believe those, because there are some people who do have some sort of skills, but yeah, I'm saying it's 1% to 3% because it's that 1%, it's that less than 1% that are actually in the professions that we're talking about.
Right. Now, the thing about the golfing too, it was like one hole, and the people said, well, pretty much any golfer can kind of get lucky, and anybody can make a mistake, and that's I think that over one hole, I think that's true. Over even 9 holes, bullshit. No, there's no way you could do it. Because in 9 holes, a professional golfer is probably going to do par or better.
Actually, you're describing the night you're describing one night in Zorro's past.
Right. Oh, am I? Who did you beat?
Well, not myself. I can tell you that.
I have a friend of mine. Matter of fact, you guys know him. A friend of mine who was Evans Scholar, and I don't know if you know that. That's like the big golf scholarship in college, and he was an Evans Scholar, and he lived in the Evans dorm, and this is at the University of Minnesota, and they had a wild party one night, and then he woke up completely drunk and stoned and realized, oh crap, I have to play golf with Senator Wendell Anderson this morning. And he said he could barely keep his crap together. He said he golfed par. He said it was so painful, it was unbelievable. He was just here. He got the senator, and he's got his entourage, and he's trying to keep his crap together, and he couldn't function, but he did fantastic. He said.
Oh, really? The senator did well that day.
Oh, but my friend beat him.
He still beat him going at par. Gotcha.
Yeah, still beat him. Yeah, it's amazing.
Hey, man! Congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
373 times at anything is good.
You were bringing this up before we started. That's right. So we all started as the basically the panel crew on Conk News for the weekend the podcast we did there. That was all audio. As a matter of fact, I actually invited our old boss Jeff Meyer to join us. He couldn't today. We had to call in, but so we started that around summer of 21. I can't remember the exact date, but. And we started this on July 31st, 2023. Yeah.
Well, I don't know about you, Tim. You generally tend to keep a lot of facts in your head, but I remember the drive over to the studio, and it was like I turn on the radio and let's say, okay, what's been happening in the world today, and try and kind of cram on my way over there. And it worked most of the time. But I think the thing I miss most is doing commercials. My favorite one was doing the one for, I don't know what it was, and I was like eating at the same time.
Oh, I remember that. That's right. I remember that. Yeah. I can't remember what the commercial was for either, but I do remember you eating. I remember that.
Well, it's 8 inches back or something. I don't know.
We had some kind of supplements that
yes,
we were doing. Yeah.
That's right.
Supplements. But yeah, I just remember stopping at Quick Trip for glazed donuts. Best glazed donuts ever.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's
they're
right. We
fantastic.
take turns bringing stuff to munch on while we were there, and that was kind of what fed me during a lot of the commercials.
You know what, Don? If you were cramming on your way over there, you faked that really well. I gotta
Thank
say.
you. Thank you. It's I specialize in that. If I don't know the answer, I just make shit up. You know?
Yeah, well, you're good at it. And speaking of those donuts, Tim, so I always thought they're knockoffs of Krispy Kreme donuts. And I'm going to tell you my story about Krispy Kreme donuts. I'm in New York for something. I can't remember. I was there all the time. And I'm getting on I'm in Penn Station to get on the train, the Aero train to go to Washington, D.C. And I'm now, you guys ever been in Penn Station? It's a pit. It's a pit. They tore down the most beautiful building on the planet and replaced it with this piece of shit. It's unbelievable. So I'm in Penn Station and I'm just waiting for the train, and across the aisle there's a Krispy Kreme place. I thought, I've heard about these donuts, So I bought 2 glazed donuts, put them in a bag, got on the train. I'm on the Acela train. It's going really fast. I'm sitting on my beautiful seat, and I can't remember reading the newspaper or something. This was when there were newspapers. This is a good 20, 25 years ago, because I'm really old. And I'm reading the newspaper, and I started to eat this donut, and all of a sudden it's like, holy shit, this is good. It's like, it's a party in my mouth. It's like, I didn't believe it. It's like, oh my God. It just like blew my mind. It's like, anyway, because I still remember that distinctly, So I'm thinking, I'll try these donuts,
This is what Jim refers to as the donut story. He tells us at every cocktail party.
I held it. Have I told this story before?
No, I've never heard it. But it's just one of those that clearly is going to be immortalized.
Well, yeah, on tape, right?
No, look at. I'm totally with you on the Krispy Kreme thing. I went with my daughter on a daddy-daughter trip to the motherland in Puerto Rico, and we went out to go get something. My parents wanted me to buy something, and we saw Krispy Kreme. So how in Krispy Kreme, every once in a while, they'll offer you like a little piece of some donut they want you to buy. They'll give you a sample.
Yeah.
In Puerto Rico, they don't play that. You walk in, and there's a girl with entire donuts, and she's giving you the entire donut. My daughter and I looked at each other, went, oh my God, we're in heaven. And not only that, they were like right off of the hopper. They're still hot. So, man. So everybody has a Krispy Kreme donut story, I think.
Yeah. My former business partner, he lived in Baltimore, and he would drive a half an hour out of downtown Baltimore to the nearest shop. And if the hot donuts light was not on, he would just turn around and go back. And then he'd buy a box, a dozen. And this guy, he was like 6'5", skinny as a rail, and he would eat he said he could finish off 11 donuts. The 12th one was pretty hard. But he'd buy a box of a dozen, and he'd sit in his car and eat them. It's like, what the hell? I don't know.
See, Tim, this is what the Europeans, learned about us on this whole soccer trip. This is not what they walked away with.
Yes, and you can buy donuts here. There's no open air markets, and there's no haggling in the stores. You can buy, and you can pay $7.50 for an American light beer. That's the other thing they learned.
Yeah, it's piss beer basically.
Yeah.
Well, it's not even the light beer doesn't even measure up to piss. It's just
no, it doesn't. That's true.
Total mistake. But the World Cup. I was looking at all those people. They would show the crowds outside the stadiums and around the stadiums and stuff before and after the tournaments and things, and it's like, you're getting one kind of American experience, but
right.
You're not going to want to stay here forever. Now, Erling Haaland found a place in Texas that sold a taxidermic raccoon holding a small whiskey bottle. And he bought that. And he said, like, you're not going to find this anywhere in Norway.
You're not.
No, we have a caller here. Hey, Think, are you there?
Yeah. Hey.
How you doing?
That's Tim.
So we got Tim.
Hey,
We got
how's it
Tim
going, guys?
Conaway and Don Zorro here. Thanks for joining us. So
Hey.
for those of you who don't know, so Think was a regular caller here when we were on Blog Talk Radio, which we were on until about a year and a half ago, and then they folded. Unfortunately, that's because we did really well there. And Don and I've asked Think to keep calling back. So thank you, Think.
Yeah, sure, no problem. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, you're welcome. So the thing we were talking about all the people who came over for the World Cup, and then they always wonder, all the Europeans wonder, where all the Americans are so fat, and then they get here and they go, oh, the food is so fantastic. Why do you think we're so fat?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, Jesus Christ, all Americans run around our big bellies, and it's terrible.
Are Americans all fat? I
Yes.
think it depends on where it's located, because from what I know, New York City, around that area, the majority of people there are lean.
Because they walk everywhere.
Walking, and that's right.
Yeah.
It's the locations. Yeah.
That's my mother says that's the key to her good health at 102, is that she still walks around a lot.
Yeah.
But it's wherever. Go ahead. Think.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say that this whole idea of Americans being lazy and just sitting around doing nothing and being fat and stuff, I think that's a lie almost. The majority of this is what I always believe, that the majority of Americans are very intelligent and very hardworking. I mean, look at the world itself. All the latest innovations in society has came from what country? Not Japan. Definitely not China, but from the United States. The airplane, the car was invented in Germany, but it was innovated here in the United States thanks to the rules and regulations from the past. But electricity, the refrigerator, the computer, almost everything came from this country. So to say that Americans just sit around and do nothing and just get fat, I sincerely doubt that would be the case.
The thing about the Wright brothers in particular, they didn't just fly for the first time. They actually invented the modern airplane. I mean, we're still basically using what they did 100 years later. I mean, it's really pretty amazing.
And that's also says something is that we're still using the basic stuff from 108 years ago. That we tend to get something that works. The automobile. There have been some changes on it, some additions, but we never, once we get something that works, we just stay with it. And there's this
perfect it, right?
Well, we don't perfect it. We add things to it, but we never think about, is there some way to change this vehicle? The automobile evolved from wagons drawn by horses, and you still, for the most part, got an engine in the front and a bunch of, the seats where the people sit, up on, on the buckboard and that kind of stuff. We've never looked at reshaping the automobile or, redoing it. We get to a certain point on the thing, and, the old, if it works, don't fix it, which is...
Well, it's when I said perfected, I meant basically we're refining the same idea. You and I are talking about the same thing. We take the same thing, we just refine it. It's basically the same. But the thing about the autos in particular, self-driving cars will finally change that. You're going to get to the point where the cars are going to be like a living room or whatever. I mean, that's going to happen. But for the longest time, it's basically been the same thing.
Yeah, but the basic shape of the car and the basic functionality of it are not going to be any different than a buckboard pulled by horses.
Right. I'm too paranoid to get in one of the self-driving cars for no other reason than, okay, number one, everything fails at some point. Number two, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but there is an epidemic of incompetence. Do you remember any point, any given year in your life as you've reached the age that you've gotten to now, where suddenly planes are falling out of the sky like I don't ever remember happening. When a plane would crash or have something like that, that would be something that would happen once, maybe twice a year. And now you pick up the paper or you get on the net and you hear about some crash or some near collision or some kerfuffle that happened in control towers. Forget about leave planes aside. And then the stuff that goes on with just daily living sorts of things, I just see incompetence rising. I can't speak for the rest of the world because I don't, I'm mostly conscious of what goes on here. But I do notice that stuff gets messed up at an alarming rate. You can't depend on a lot of the things that we used to take for granted in the same way that we used to be able to. And that is one of the things that alarms me and just kind of gives me concern, and is one of the reasons that I don't think I could deal with being in one of those things and then me having the luck of running into some protest that's going down, and here you are in the back seat of an unmanned car
that's going to drive over people.
Well, no, that's the problem. If it was going to drive over people, I'd be fine with it. I'd say, okay, at least I know I'm going to get through this thing. But then probably go, oh, there is a human. I must stop. No, you idiot machine. Get going. Get out of here.
Well, hold it. We have to ask Think, because Think's kind of an expert at AI. Think's done more shit with AI than I know. Think, is that going to happen?
I doubt it. It's possible, but I doubt it. For right now, there's so many censorships in place. Just the very thought of telling your AI, "Hey, run over somebody," it'll probably call the police and arrest you, most likely.
Yeah. And they're all, and Don, just to address your point, and that's like it's a two-pronged thing, as Mr. Conaway would say, prongs. First of all, when it comes to the actual airline stuff, I think that's that I keep track of this fairly carefully because I'm a fucking nerd. That's kind of the thing about the press basically amplifying anything that happens. For many, many years, we've basically only lost one airplane every 2 years. And there's more flight. Also, there's more commercial flights now than there were 10 or 15 years ago too. So there's that. You got to figure that in.
Well, to me, there are a couple of factors in this. It's one, as Jim's saying, we do more and more with our equipment. We add more and more stuff to it. And when you add more and more things to it, there's the possibility of some part of it not functioning. And that part can have an effect on the other parts of it. But the second part of it is the maintenance. You're saying there are more flights than ever before. So the planes are constantly going, and a lot of the planes in the air, as they pointed out in some of these things, are 25 and 30 years old.
That's true.
And, if you don't have constant maintenance and upkeep on these, then something is going to go wrong with it.
Yeah.
I see cars, expensive cars, I call them, the big boxes on wheels with these variations on the SUV, and they're driving by, and I hear things that sound like that car shouldn't be making that noise, whether it's the engine or it's the transmission or it's the, some part of the system, put some system on the car. And these look like they're, fairly new. But again, they're banging them out because there are 330 million people in America, and 180 million of those people drive cars. And so they got to keep, churning them out, yanking them out. So, there's just the basic function of the car is not as important anymore, it seems, as having the Sirius radio and the leather seats and the dash cam.
That gets back to what Don was saying about competence, because I
Mhm.
totally agree with him on that. Competence has gone out the window. No one gives a crap about anybody being able to do anything well anymore. I'm very cynical about that. I think in that sense, I think you're absolutely right. You know, and also I think that you're talking, and Tim, what you're talking about, the fact that people care way more about the leather sheets than the car actually working correctly. You know, I think
Okay.
that's true too.
How many of you guys can actually remove a battery from your car in 5 minutes the
I
way
can't.
we used to?
Yeah.
I can't.
You know, I mean, it's just a cluster of so many things that I just don't even understand. Thank God I can still put windshield washer in that. And I think oil changes, I think you can still get that done in about half an hour if you wanted to do it by yourself. But past that, oh man, the computers are everywhere inside the car. They control every little thing, and we take it so much for granted
Yeah.
that they just keep stuffing more and more. And look, it's not to say that I wouldn't take advantage of those things that are now available in cars. I mean, I have to say, as a recently new granddad, I like the idea that I can now see on a nice TV screen behind me and make sure that there's nobody back there or anything like that. Because no matter how much you look over, you're bound to miss something, and that's something I'm happy to take care of. But all you need is one glitch. All of a sudden, that doesn't work.
Yeah.
And you become so inured into it that it becomes such a part of what you do. What is? I heard a recent statistic about how many of us own cell phones, and of course, the grand majority of those are the smartphones, and it's an astonishing part of the population. And 10 years ago, who knew? But again, when you misplace that phone, when you lose that phone, all of a sudden a gigantic part of your life is gone until you replace it.
Yeah.
So it's a very interesting time that we're living in, because the technology is showing us you can't live without this. And to a certain extent, they're right, because that's what we have kind of allowed ourselves to get into, myself included.
Don, conversely, you're talking about the fact that everyone has one. You can get an Android cell phone for $65. I mean, it's like, I just saw this ad. I was in Micro Center just the other day. You can get a Blue sells a cell phone for $65. This is unbelievable. Now I'm sure it's not as fast as most phones. I mean, I've had my phone for several years. It's a Motorola, and I paid $400 for mine. It works fantastic.
Yeah. Well, the only reason I have a phone, a cell phone, or any phone, is if my car breaks down and I need to call AAA. I really don't care about them. I don't like to use them that much. And people call, I don't have it with me everywhere, which is the other part of life. I go out onto the gym floor without my phone, and I'm the only
Really?
person on the gym floor who isn't staring at my phone instead of working out.
Hold it just a second, Tim. So no, I mean, I hate to say this. I haven't been in a gym in a couple of years. Okay, so people, why are you staring at your cell phone when you're supposed to be working out? I don't understand that.
In between sets, like if you're doing 3 sets of something, you do a set and then you sit on the machine and you look at your phone, and you forget that like there are other people, and you're not doing anything, and I've seen people stop doing their little routines, and they're all kind of bizarre routines with kettlebells and taking goofy steps and all this kind of stuff, stop in the middle of their routine because there's cell phone buzzed, and they got to stop and look at this earth-shattering news that's coming in on this stuff. People cannot move, or they can't get through a meal. They can't do anything. Me, I leave my phone on my desk and I watch TV in the evenings and stuff. And the next morning, when I finally get myself together around 10:30, 11 o'clock, I'll check it and I'll say, oh, somebody called me at 7:30 last night with a critical question, which isn't ever the case.
Right.
So it's like we have addicted ourselves to the phones. For some reason, we think we need them. And I just think back to those glorious days where we didn't have a phone. I had to go to my grandmother's to call my girlfriend. And then I had to, and this was, I learned this from my older brother. I had to like bury my face in the corner of the couch to talk sweet nothings because grandma was sitting in the chair right next to me.
Well, I have something, and it's even worse. I don't know of the three of you guys if you've had the experience of being, let's say, at the airport, and you need to use the bathroom for something other than urinating. If you need a stall, and now especially that they've gone all out for the whole tranny thing now, and everything is like you can't see under, it's just a gigantic wall. So now what you're treated to is waiting until whoever is in there has not only already finished their crap, but they're like doom scrolling on the phone, so they're in there 2 to 3 times as long as they actually should be. Meanwhile, there are people that are actually waiting. So for me, that's one of the biggest offenses of this need that we have.
But you know what a really big offense is? I really feel strongly about this. There's no way in hell I'm taking my phone into any bathroom. I mean, I just like the idea of mixing germs in there with the I just find that just gross. That's just gross, and I don't do it ever. I just if you're whatever. I think you're in the network business. I suppose do you have an iPhone?
Oh no, I can't stand Apple products. Sorry, I don't like the fact that Apple does everything proprietary. You know that if you put up a blueprint of an actual Apple product online, you could get sued for it.
Yeah,
they have
I do
screws
know that.
in there. Yeah, they have. It's just a regular screw, but they have it in a weird shape, so that they could sell these special tools to take out the iPhone part.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous. I don't like Apple, but why did you ask me? I'm a Android fan.
Yeah.
I like open source.
I am too. Yeah.
Yeah. So real quick, I just wanted to touch on what Tim was saying earlier. I go to the gym and I bring my phone and I look at people on the phone all the time. They're on their phone all the time. I don't get it. I use my phone as a personal fitness. It has this time.
Oh.
It tells you what type of set you need to do, and it gives you the reps. And it's perfect. It counts down for you. So after my set, I have 1 minute of resting or 60 seconds, and I just sit back and just relax. I don't understand how you could find the time to start scrolling.
But that's a legitimate reason to bring it though, to use it. I mean, that's you're actually using it for your workout.
Well, but see, along with incompetence, that brings another little factor that addresses what Think is saying, and that's narcissism. The very fact that you think you can go to a place like that and to hell with everybody else. I mean, when I used to go to regular gyms, I mean, that's I was always very conscious of, okay, get it done. Somebody's waiting. That's the way I was raised, it's just be considerate of other people trying to use the stuff. But that, along with incompetence. So the only thing that we can hope for is that these people become incompetents at narcissism.
Yeah. And then I'm bringing this full circle, talking about narcissism. And then there's a narcissism of passengers on airplanes. I mean, people who think now United just passed a thing now. They will throw you off a flight if you don't use headphones with your phone. If you're listening and they ask you to stop. Now, okay, but
they have to actually tell you that.
Yeah, they actually have to tell you that because too many people do it. They ask people to stop, their speaker on their phone, and people say no. It's like, what the fuck? I mean, I don't believe it.
To me, the whole
Go ahead, think.
Yeah. Narcissism is just another way of saying an egotistic person, right?
Right.
More or less, yeah. Right.
Yeah. So I'm a strong Buddhist person, and in Buddhism we believe that the devil is real. There is no God, but there is a devil, and the devil is the ego. That's just my 2 cents on it. Take it how you. I'm sorry, I just had to jump in and say that.
No,
Yeah.
it's fine.
Well, I would certainly say that too much ego is definitely a negative and evil myself. I mean, look at this. Anthony Fauci's been in the news. I mean, I don't know if he's a downright criminal, but the guy's a freaking egomaniac. There's no doubt about that.
You know, I have to admit, playing the Fifth Amendment drinking game early in the morning really doesn't do well for you. I was passed out by 10:30. That's it. I was on the floor.
Yeah, well, I didn't bother to watch. God bless you. You know, I watched about the first 3 minutes of it, and as soon as I figured out what was going on, I got out.
Well, it was just so entertaining. I couldn't tear myself away from it. I was laughing my ass off. I really was. I was just laughing my ass off.
And to me, it was typical of the government. They're 6 years too late in taking a in-depth look at, you know, what's going on and how things were running. And not only 6 years, I mean, longer than that. We're supposed to be prepared for these kind of emergencies in particular, not the average ordinary annual flu, but, you know, the really big populace threatening things. And we were totally unprepared, totally unable to provide any kind of real information. So, you know, there is no oversight of anything in Washington. There are department heads who fire people for political reasons and for show, but nobody is really holding anybody to account or making anybody report where they're at with any kind of detail, you know, other than a bunch of buzzwords. But this whole thing is like, yeah, well, 6 years have passed, so what the hell? I mean, really, it's like flushed and gone down the pipes a long time ago. But the midterms are coming up, and so we've got to have this show of, you know, how bad these people are. There have got to be demons. There have got to be enemies. There have got to be you know, all these kind of, we can point at all these other people to try to detract from the issues coming up in the midterms. So I just didn't pay attention to it.
Tim, you're absolutely right. At this point, basically all public committee meetings on Capitol Hill have turned into theater, as far as I can tell. But nothing's accomplished. People are just trying to get their sound bites for their social media, and you know, it's like, and just stop it. It's like, Christ.
Yeah, and of course we're still mired in the two-party syndrome, you know, and that's all these people are about is their party and, you know, their party agendas, you know, and we've still got, you know, I just wanted to say, this is my Mitch McConnell impersonation. When they embalmed Mitch and they gave him a smiley clown face.
We talked a lot about this on Conk News. These guys got to get out. That's all.
He's out.
Well, he's out.
He's done. You know, they embalmed him with a nice smiley face, and they set him up, and his wife, you know, my wife pointed out that picture, that the firm grip she has on his arm to keep him from toppling forward in the photo. But yeah, you know, we've got these same hacks in there for thousands of years. So, and I saw a guy who's running for the Republican primary for the U.S. House of Representatives seat for the district that I live in. And he was saying all kinds of interesting things that I heard myself saying a couple years ago. But, the Constitution doesn't give the federal government the right to be involved in all these other areas like education and all these kind of things that, one of the questions he was asked is what local infrastructure things and stuff. And he says, federal government isn't involved in local infrastructure and that kind of stuff. And he was saying there should be term limits. He's a guy that's going to run for office and say that the office that he's holding should have term limits and stuff. And it's like, well, this guy's got no chance. If he can get his message out to the people, he might get elected. But then once he gets in there, they'll grind him out of the system right away. But people who say these kind of things and think like that usually are guys like us on a podcast, not running for office.
Do you guys remember my plan for serving in office on the federal level? It's a 32-year plan that you can serve no more than 32. 2 terms in the Senate, 6 terms in Congress, and then 2 terms in as president, and that would be it. Whatever you do on the local level, that's whatever that is. But federally, that would be the most that you could serve if you managed all of those. Yeah. So typically, the worst you could do is 6 years, or the worst you could do is 2 years.
That would be called running the table, I think.
Yeah,
right. If you ran the table, you could do 32. And you're right. I basically came up with the same thing. It's like that's right. 6 and 2, and you're good.
That's the most logical to me.
Right.
Yeah, that would be a fair amount of time if you're going to accomplish anything beyond filling up your pockets with money through insider trading and stuff. That's the other thing is this guy was saying people in Congress should be held to the same laws as everybody else, and it isn't just the insider trading law that they're exempt from. There are all kind of laws. Yes. There are all kind of regulations that these people are exempt from.
What is the name of that one rule where they can't be held to account for something? If they come out and just plain lie, there's a certain term. It's a standard. I think the police officers are also held to. There's a certain, and I just can't remember what it is, but that to me, along with the fact that if they make a late payment to me, for taxes, if they're late, I can't charge them fines and interest the way they can to me if I'm late.
Well, and there's also the thing about anything you say on the floor of Congress.
That's what I'm talking about.
You're immune to any sort of retribution.
That's what I'm talking about.
So Nancy Mace gets up in Congress and actually enters this in the congressional record, and she bitches about her boyfriend. And so she accuses him of all sorts of nasty crap. But the thing is, she does it on the floor of Congress because she knows that it becomes public and he can't sue her or anything like that.
Is this for real? Are you serious?
It's for real. This happened last year. Yeah, that's unbelievable. People were just like gobsmacked. It's like she went on and on on this tirade. She had, I can't remember if she accused him of rape or something like that. It's like, it was really terrible. But the thing is, she did it on the floor of Congress because there's nothing he can do about it.
It's perversely brilliant. What do you think?
Yeah. And it's to me an example of, the best way that these people spend their time in office and, and using up the time of all the other people in Congress.
Right.
That's a really productive way to go about things. Self-serving, small, self-serving, incompetent. You talk about incompetence. This is where it begins. Is a big building there in Washington.
Tim, are you still there?
Yeah, I was waiting. I wanted to jump in. I've been wanting to jump in on this so bad.
Jump in.
I I think Fauci recently just, I mean, with the whole, he was in the Senate, right, at the trial.
Yeah.
But the fact that he just said, I plead the fifth the whole time, it was just like, okay, they're not even hiding it anymore. There's been Democrats on trial where they just are asked a specific question and they just say something totally different. And the person questioning them is like, hey, that's not what I asked you. And they just ramble about something else. But for Fauci to just come on and say, hey, I plead the fifth, I don't want to say anything. Can they do that now? Where they're put in trial, and if they don't want to say anything, then they don't have to.
Well,
yeah.
Is that even allowed?
From what I understand, with Fauci specifically, it was a very murky legal area because he was pardoned preemptively by Biden, which basically supposedly means that you can't plead the fifth. But people said there's a difference between state and federal crimes, and if anything he said on the federal level in a congressional hearing, if he said it, he might be liable on a state level. So it gets very, very confusing. And supposedly they're going to hold him for contempt because he's not supposedly supposed to have the ability to plead the fifth in Congress. But whatever, I don't know. It's so confusing. I understand. My friend David, go ahead. Think. What?
I always thought that I'm going to put Fauci up there with the politicians. I always thought that politicians that had to be transparent. They cannot do things like I plead the fifth, or I cannot tell you, unless it's national security. We are supposed to know everything they're doing. That's why we're allowed to read their emails. We're allowed to listen to their recorded messages. They have to be recorded because we're supposed to know what they're doing.
Yeah.
They could do some dangerous stuff without us knowing. So that's why we have to know what they're doing.
Well,
and for Fauci to come up there and say, hey, I don't want to tell you. Okay, go ahead, Jim. I'm sorry.
No. I was going to say that, to your point, Fauci actually kept his diary on the public server, which is hilariously dumb. I don't know what the hell you're thinking, but okay, fine. That's the reason they've been reading it, because it's on the public server. So,
Yeah.
Okay, so I have a question. Before we go on, will Saturday Night Live do a sketch on this?
That's a good question. Okay, betting odds? I don't know, man. It's like
I think so.
Okay, please.
I agree with I'm gonna agree with Don on this one.
That they will.
I'm just throwing the question out. I'm just throwing it out because they will take some things that are incredibly obvious and then not do it. I don't know if they've done anything with this so-called DSA commie outfit. I don't know if they've done anything with that. I think there have been a bunch of things. But to tell you the truth, I don't watch the show, so I don't know what they've done.
Yeah, I don't either. But you think they will? Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, this is big. This is big. It's going to be big because I've never seen any politician just come on trial and say, I don't want to answer, basically. The whole I plead the fifth. I think they counted, and it was like over 100 times.
It was 111, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. See, I don't know if it's even legal. Well, you're saying that they're gonna put him in contempt. I've never seen that before.
Yeah.
I've seen people, like I said, where they were asked a specific question and they start rambling about how they should have cut their grass at their house or something like that, which is totally off topic, but not this. This is something new. This is crazy. And if they get away with this, I would say that I don't know how to say it. This country's fucked up.
The thing
That's
is,
the best way to say it. If
Fauci wasn't officially a politician, but he was an employee of the government. He was the single highest paid federal employee in the entire American government. 4 million people, and he was the single highest paid employee. Like he's the only person who got paid more than the president, which is technically illegal, but somehow there was some loophole he got around that. So
40 years of merit increases.
Yeah, right. That's right. Yeah. And so we've come full circle, gentlemen. Everyone's incompetent. It's up to us.
But I'll tell you who's not incompetent. The people who have been sending me messages.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. You have a few things you got to read?
Yeah. All it takes apparently is just once to, if you donate to a candidate, and I've sent Michelle Tafoya a little bit of money, and okay, they get your name and they want more money, of course, but it starts at, oh, this senator, is in favor of such and such. In fact, let me see, the very first one up here, should Planned Parenthood be defunded? All right, and so it got to the point where I just see something that starts like that, and I just go click, 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 click.
Yeah.
Click. But today I decided, there are a couple of these just to show how absolutely brazen they've gotten. Let me see. Okay, here's one from phone number 314-936-1883. Do you call yourself a patriot? Yes. Then why isn't your name on the GOP petition to mandate voter ID? Sign, and then it takes you to, guess what, the place where you get to donate money.
Yeah.
Let's see. My father asked me to send this only to you. Your verification record may still be incomplete. Can you fix it? So it's nice to know that I got a personal message.
Her dad asked her to send that.
Oh yeah. And then there's one that starts with "do not delete."
Yeah,
well,
right.
Etc. I mean, I got one that was just so insulting to me, having to do well, apparently you're a Democrat now. I mean, I know that bots get this, but I couldn't resist writing. I said, "Hey, this
but Don, this is the part I don't understand, and you touched on this. Don't they? It never occurs to them that at some point they're alienating people. That's the
No,
if people who are normally fans. I mean, it's like
No, you ask 100 people and you get one of them to donate, you're successful.
Boom.
Yeah,
there you go.
And you just keep going at it. I was a member of the NRA and proudly still support the Second Amendment, but besides getting the magazine, which was full of Donate Now, every week I got something in the mail about donating to the NRA. And to me, it was like, well, let's see, I could send this money to these guys who, to lobby on our behalf, except the money is going to pay a bunch of other people to do a bunch of stuff, or I could spend the money on guns and ammunition. And so I stopped being a member because it's like, okay, well, I hope you guys do a good job, but you can't ask me for money week after week after week.
Yeah.
But I'm sure
the identical experience.
Yeah. And, but I'm sure that out of the hundreds of thousands of requests that they sent out every week, there was one out of every 100 that sent in, put some coin in the envelope and sent it in. So it works. Yeah, they turned me off asking me for money all the time, but they still have thousands of, hundreds of thousands of members for the thing.
Yeah, that's like the old thing about spam email. Spam email is so cheap. The last time I heard somebody figured out that if you send out 10 million emails, depending on what your offer is, what you want, and 2 people buy out of 10 million, it's worth the trouble.
Wow. Yeah, it's covers the cost of it.
Yeah, that's hard to believe, but it's that little. That's how cheap it is to do it. So people keep sending them, keep doing it. Now, there's plenty of spam filters now. I don't think it works as well anymore, but for years. Well, I remember there's 90% of all of the spam email in America was created by 14 people. It was unbelievable. Yeah.
Yeah, the apostles. Oh no, how many apostles were there? Okay.
No, 12.
Oh, okay.
Mystery apostles.
You're off by 2.
I knew it was somewhere in that range.
Gentlemen, I want to thank you for joining me today. I really appreciate this.
Thanks for making us part of 3 year, and 3 years. It's, to me, it's like, I don't know, time passes too quickly.
It does.
At my age. So this seems like just a brief time, but 3 years is a monumental accomplishment. So good luck on many more of these.
Because I'm stubborn and stupid.
Well, and I will leave you with 3 short pieces of advice, since we are all basically the same age, and I hope that this will help steer us towards another 373 episodes, and that is: never pass up a urinal, never waste an erection, and for God's sake, don't ever trust a fart.
What a great way to end this. That's fantastic. Thank you, Don. I want to thank you for calling in. I appreciate it a lot.
Thanks for having me on, and happy anniversary. And it was nice talking to you, Don, and nice talking to you too.
Nice to meet you.
And many more shows. Yep.
Thank you. Thanks.
I'll see you guys.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll see you.
Yep.
Yeah, you take care. And gentlemen, I'm gonna boot you off. So I'm gonna say a few things to the audience here, and we'll wrap this up. So, but thanks a lot. Really appreciate it. Take care. I want to thank those guys. That was Don Zorro, Tim Conaway, and Think on the phone for joining me here. I actually was going to do a Gymcast tonight, but we went overtime, and I thought, what the hell? We're shooting this shit. It's all working out. So I want to thank you guys for watching a lot. Yeah, 373 episodes and 3 years today. It's been a journey, as they say. I hate to use that term, but it has. So, and I hope you guys stick around. We got some changes coming up for after Labor Day. I'd like to think improvements. We'll see. First of all, we're going to do the show three nights a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, instead of Monday through Thursday. Because to be honest, I probably don't have to tell you this. Usually we're trying to do 4 nights a week, and we usually missed one. So I said, screw this. And also I didn't like the idea that we went 4 days without doing a show, Thursday through Monday. I didn't like that idea. So we're going to do Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, starting after the first of the year. And got a couple of things we're going to throw in the mix too. No, not after the first of the year. What I'm talking about, after Labor Day, after summer's done. Next week, our guests are going to be Chris Bogard and Steve Lance on Thursday. They're both filmmakers. This is off the top of my head here. I didn't write this down. I should have. So Chris's film is called Remember the Alamo, but it's actually not about history. It's about people trying to introduce Sharia law, Islamic Sharia law, into the state of Texas. And Steve Lance's film on Thursday is about the Shen Young artist ballet dance company that tours the United States on behalf of basically, I think it's the Epoch Times, I think is their sponsor. But how the Chinese government has gone way out of their way to try to shut this thing down, even though they have no tie to the Chinese government. They don't. Matter of fact, that's the point. They're basically against the Chinese government, and I don't have any problem with that because I'm against the Chinese government too. So, he's Steve Lance on Thursday, Chris Bogard on this coming Monday. So anyway, thanks a lot. Please like and subscribe us if you can. We're doing really well on TikTok. I'm hoping soon we can actually run the live show there. We'll see. There's a whole bunch of stuff involved. But yeah, so yeah, thank you. Thank you very much for watching and listening. Really appreciate it a lot. Good night, Uncle Donnie, wherever you are. and good night to you, wherever you may be. You folks have a nice weekend. Stay out of the heat. We'll see you on Monday. Take care.